It's interesting how a figure like Aaron Rodgers, often criticized by mainstream media for his views during the pandemic and other issues, stands out. His straightforward and open nature in expressing concerns about societal trends, especially regarding privacy and surveillance, really makes one think about the direction in which our society is heading. In this video, we'll explore Aaron Rodgers' observations on the future threats of social credit systems, a topic that has seen real-world applications in places like China. Some might see it as something out of sci-fi movies and could say it is a convenient way of doing things. However, we will explore the other side of what we are sacrificing for convenience and how it relates to the verses of the Bible.
Freedom-loving Americans,
Yes.
Republican, Democrat, Independent, Black, White, Asian, Mexican, whatever it is.
That's right.
Just great people who live in this country. Leave us alone. Leave us alone.
Yeah, stop spying on me.
Yeah. Get off my computer, get off my cameras, get off my Ring camera, take down all this fucking CCTV cameras everywhere that are watching everything. And because the next step to all of this, people don't realize this, and this is the fucking facts, is China and what's going on there, and social credit scores, and your entire life monitored. Like, that's where we're going. Slowly. Jordan Peterson said, was doing an interview and talked about how does, I can't remember what the conversation was, but I heard him say this. How does corruption take form when it's so obvious? It's slow movements. It's like barely inching towards, total corruption and obedience, where you don't really see it coming. Next thing you know, like, oh, I have no other option but to get a chip in my hand, or
Totally.
Have a social credit score that allows me to, fly in a plane. If I don't have a good one, then I got to ride on a bus or a train or a cab, or, I can drive. They want all electric cars. I can just, shut that off at some point because your post on Facebook, kind of violated the government standard here. And also, we're going to freeze your bank account, or only let you, eat at this restaurant. Eat at the, get groceries from this store, not like the nice, organic store. You have to eat this shit over here, or eat insects or whatever the hell.
The Oreo store.
Yeah,
Lucky Charms.
we're not far from that if we don't stand for civil liberties. And people are always like, when I talk about, because I'm always been a big proponent of Ed Snowden, and people are like, well, I have nothing to hide. And I'm like, that is the worst answer.
Okay, it is actually happening in reality. Many of us have devices constantly connected to the cloud, always listening, presumably to tailor ads to our preferences. Isn't it like a double-edged sword? What if these capabilities are or could be used by governments or other entities beyond commercial purposes? Take, for example, household security devices like Ring cameras or indoor cameras. These are marketed as safety enhancements, allowing us to monitor our homes and even provide evidence to authorities in case of a break-in. But this very feature that makes them useful due to their connectivity to the internet also makes them dangerous. If these devices can be accessed through the internet or Wi-Fi, potentially anyone with the skills can hack into the network, even the government, to control us, isn't it? Like Aaron said, many people dismiss privacy concerns by saying, "I have nothing to hide." But they miss the most important point. Privacy isn't about hiding. It's about maintaining autonomy and control over one's personal space and information. Aren't we independent beings? Aren't we entitled to our own privacy? We have to be vigilant and stand together to protect our rights more than ever because of what is coming. I'm not just speculating. Take a look at this video in China, for example.
They're constantly monitored by facial recognition cameras that are able to instantly put a face to a name. The state will go over every detail of a person's life with a fine-tooth comb: their financial situation, spending habits, career, even behavior on social media. Criticizing the government online or displaying outward signs of wealth is a no-no. On the other hand, praising the party or giving blood increases your social credit. A good score brings benefits, but people with low scores lose rights. The cinema names and shames people considered untrustworthy, plastering their details, even their addresses, across big screens.
This implementation of the social credit score system is an example of privacy invasion where citizens' behaviors are constantly monitored and evaluated. Any missteps can lead to restricted basic freedoms like travel. Remember in 2020, without a vaccination card, we faced restrictions on travel and access to public places. Isn't this a hint of the direction we are heading? These are not just hypothetical scenarios, but have already been trialed, suggesting a potential shift towards more widespread surveillance and control, which could eliminate our freedom. If we remain silent about these issues, our freedom will be limited to a small number of people in power. And what assurance is there that the people in power will use their power for the benefit of the citizens? As long as good people rule the country, one might argue that it's okay. But what if power goes to the wrong group or person? Is there any assurance? They have already started trials of microchipping. According to the World Economic Forum, thousands of Swedish people are swapping ID cards for microchips. And in the USA, some private companies are already testing it on employees. For now, it may be presented as optional, but later they will try to make it compulsory. But before it does, we must stand united and stop it from taking away our freedom. Take a look at this palm payment and face payment technology coming to US. Isn't it similar to the verses in the Bible, Revelation 13?
Soon you will be able to pay for groceries at every Whole Foods in the U.S. with just a swipe of your hand. Amazon says that the Pay by Palm technology will be at all of those stores nationwide by the end of the year. Customers just have to hover their hand over the device to pay. This method is already being used at 200 Whole Foods locations across 20 states, and you can also find it in other places, stores like Panera Bread.
And now Fox's Arthur Sheehan tells us some businesses are letting you pay with your face. But obviously you're going to ask, is this safe? We'll see.
While some are still learning how to use the digital wallet on their smartphone, a new technology may make our phones obsolete altogether. Facial recognition, once just used as a security tool, has reached a breakthrough, according to tech experts who say we may start paying with our faces in places like restaurants, a form of biometric authentication.
There's a spirit behind all of these. These are not just for convenience. And I need to tell you, it's not about any government or any political party either. It's the Antichrist spirit working in the shadows. We are closing in on the end times. But make no mistake, I'm not saying we are in the end times. I do not know that. It could be 100 years from now or 1,000 years from now. Only God knows. Matthew 24:36. In Revelation 13 basically talks about signs of the end times. Revelation 13:16, 18 says it also forced all people, great and small, rich and poor, free and slave, to receive a mark on their right hands or on their foreheads, so that they could not buy or sell unless they had the mark, which is the name of the beast or the number of its name. This calls for wisdom. Let the person who has insight calculate the number of the beast, for it is the number of a man. That number is 666.
Because I don't have anything to hide either. But I want my privacy. And you understand. You think the government's just going to stop at what they're doing now? They're not going to stop with this. They're inching closer to being 1984, where they have a set in some sort of TV set in your house that watches you. Make sure you get up and do your 10 push-ups, 10 sit-ups. We're going to watch every aspect of your life. We're going to give you a social credit score. We're going to create... it's a fucking great book to read. It was written in 1949, and how accurate it is today. Literally, the Ministry of Truth. We literally had a government organization that was censoring free speech and categorizing things as misinformation. There was a Ministry of Truth czar who was making decisions based on what they thought was acceptable language online, and all these fact-checking bullshit. Like, we're not far from 1949.
You might think there are challenges now, but the true tribulation that was prophesied hasn't begun yet. There's no need to speculate excessively about the Antichrist. Clarity will come when the time is right. What's important now is to recognize the direction our world is heading and understand the reassurance offered to believers. For Christians, the good news is that God has promised the rapture to rescue and protect those who have faith in Jesus Christ. Despite the inevitable difficulties and persecution, God is our steadfast protector. For those in Christ, the call is to remain firm and fearless, trusting in God's provisions for our safety. If you're not yet a believer, take this moment to consider how our freedoms have been eroded and truth distorted, creating a world of confusion. This is not by chance but by design, opposing the clarity and truth God provides. God is the author of truth, not confusion. He invites everyone to turn from deception and embrace the truth found in Jesus Christ, offering a relationship that rescues us from condemnation and leads to true freedom.